Hi everybody and welcome to Tuesday night's theory workshop here at Direct Drive Hub. Okay, so what I thought we'd have a look at this week was a couple of things. I thought I was going to have a look at the Theory Test Pro app, okay, the app that we use for all of our pupils as far as their theory test is concerned. So I just thought we'd have a look at that and maybe give you guys some tips and advice on how to use the app and obviously get the most out of it to help you get yourself up to scratch for the theory test. A lot of apps are quite similar, so even if you don't use this app, okay, I think you'll find that some of the tips and advice, okay, that we're giving as far as studying and preparing yourself for the theory test, it will actually be really, really helpful. The other thing I thought we'd have a look at tonight as well is going back to basics. So we're going to have a look at the clutch and just try and give you some understanding, okay, of what the clutch is, how it works, and the best way of actually using the clutch. So hopefully that will just help you to improve your clutch work, and maybe if you're at the early stages of your learning to drive, you know, reduce the things of stalling and start to obviously get much better clutch control from it. And we're also just going to have a little look at gear selection as well, and obviously just run through that too. So yes, okay, obviously they're not basics, okay, early on in learning to drive, but again, hopefully again some really useful tips and advice, okay, on that area. Okie dokie, so we will start off, okay, just having a look at the Theory Test Pro app, and then we'll move on. Okay, so we're going to have a look at one of the apps that we use, Theory Test Pro, to help you get the most out of it to obviously prepare yourself for your theory test. Even though you're using an app, I would still recommend that you have to hand a couple of books, okay, that I've recommended before, just to show you again. The three books I would recommend that you have is Know Your Traffic Signs, the Official Highway Code, and the Official DVSA Guide to Driving Essential Skills. So what you can do is when you're looking through your questions and anything that you're not sure about, you can go to one of those books and reference and actually have a look at it to obviously get better understanding and knowledge regarding the question. Remember at the end of the day, okay, that studying for your theory isn't just to pass your theory test. Yes, obviously it's really important that you go on and pass your theory test, because that needs to be done for you to be able to progress to your driving test and passing that. But the theory is there to help you put that theory into practice, to put it into your driving. So what you don't want to be doing, okay, is when you're practicing your theory is just learning questions. The thing is, okay, with just learning questions, how are you going to put that into practice? So it really is all about, okay, gaining the knowledge. The better your knowledge, okay, the better you'll be able to put that, okay, into practice within your in-car driving sessions and your driving in general. So that is really what it should be all building up to. And this is one of the reasons why we're putting a theory workshop together, is to try and help, okay, improve your knowledge and help you show a better way of obviously gaining knowledge and understanding so you can get more from your driving lessons. Okay, so I'm just going to run through the app that we use, okay, and just show you how that works and the tips and advice I would give you with using the apps. Okay, so here we've got the Theory Test Pro dashboard showing up on the screen. So when you first come onto this, what you could do is maybe just start off with taking a practice mock test. It'll just give you a general idea of what kind of questions you're going to come across and give you maybe a bit of an idea of what your knowledge is about already. What I wouldn't recommend that you do is just keep taking mock test after mock test. Ideally what you want to do, okay, is go to the practice questions on your app, okay, and you can see here listed down here is all of the various different topics, okay, that are coming up. So just go through each topic and answer all the questions in each topic, And once you've run through all that, you'll get an idea, okay, here it actually gives you a score of, okay, all the questions you've got right. So it will start to highlight, okay, the strong areas you're in, okay, and any weak areas that you may have. So using, you know, the books and stuff, okay, obviously revise on that, okay, just get your knowledge better on those areas so you're able then to get the correct answers. So just clicking on practice and begin test, okay, it will come up, okay, and give us a question. So the question asks here, okay, you are driving in fog, okay, why should you keep well back from the vehicle in front? In case it changes direction suddenly, in case it stops suddenly, in case its fog lights dazzle you, in case its brake lights dazzle you. So click on what we think is the correct answer and we can check it. And we can see then, okay, yep, we've given the correct answer there, okay, in case the vehicle in front stops suddenly. If you're following another road user in fog, stay well back. The driver in front won't be able to see hazards until they are close and might need to brake suddenly. Also, the road surface is likely to be wet and could be slippery. So it's just giving you, okay, a little bit more detail, okay, about the question that's been asked there. So if we go on to the next question, all right, how can you use your vehicle engine to control your speed? So let's get this question wrong, just so we can see what happens. By changing into a lower gear, by changing into a higher gear, by selecting reverse gear, okay, by selecting neutral. So we say by selecting neutral, and we can see that it's wrong. So it's actually given us the correct answer, so the correct answer is by changing into a lower gear. And again, at the bottom here, it just tells you a little bit more about that to give you the detail, okay, about, okay, that question so you can understand it more. All right. What this app gives you as well, okay, is a summary, okay, about the questions that you've answered. So it tells you, okay, shows you the questions that you've answered correctly, and also shows you the answers that you have, the questions that you've answered incorrectly. So you get a good idea, okay, and obviously you can revise on that. So remember, okay, obviously the whole point of answering these questions is to gain the knowledge and understanding so we can put this into practice actually within our driving. It's not just about learning the questions, okay? The other thing we need to do is, we go back to the dashboard, is our hazard perception. So the hazard perception, okay, is the video clips, okay, where we've got to look for developing hazards. A developing hazard is something that is going to make us slow down or change direction. Something that's really important to be able to spot, okay, when we're driving. So this, okay, test will actually help you learn to what to look for and how to look out for developing hazards. So hazard tutorial on here, we've got practice clips, so we've got various different clips, all right, that we can practice on, and we've got mock tests. So this is giving you 4 different mock tests to do. Okay, if you look back on my Facebook page, I think it was last week, I put the DVSA's official theory test guide up there explaining about the theory test and showing you exactly what's what with the theory test. So it's worth going to have a look at that. And I also put the same up for the DVSA's practical driving test there as well. So if you want to go back and have a look for that and just have a look at those 2 videos, okay, we'll give you, okay, some more information about the theory test and also the practical driving test. If we just quickly have a look at the tutorial here, it will just show us a clip. So you can just see roughly what we're looking at, okay, within, okay, the clip. So basically it's just a scene, and obviously whilst we're watching this, okay, we need to be looking out for something that's going to cause us to take action by slowing down or changing direction. So when we see that, okay, we should be then pressing the mouse button to register, okay, our response. As you can see down the bottom here, as we are clicking the button, okay, we've got some red flags coming up showing us. What we don't want to be doing there, okay, is just constantly clicking. Alright, otherwise it will zero the score, okay, for us. So yeah, just, I mean, what I would say to you, okay, is with your theory, okay, is maybe just try and find 10 10-15 minutes every day, just practicing your questions and having a go on one or two hazard perceptions, okay, to improve on that. I think you're far better doing a small amount every day than actually trying to think about jamming a lot in at once, okay, because chances are we're not going to do that. And again, obviously, any queries, any questions that are coming up, okay, when you're practicing your theory, make a note of it, okay, so you can take that along and speak to your driving instructor about it on the lesson, okay. I'm sure they will, you know, be more than happy, okay, to advise and give you the help, okay, with your theory. The good thing, okay, I get my pupils to use this, okay, and give this service. So again, if they are having issues on it, one of the things that we can do here is go and have a look at what they've done, so we can see any problems, okay, that they might have. Okay, so hopefully that's just giving you a bit of help and advice, okay, about practicing your hazard perception and doing that. And obviously, if there's any other advice and help we can give on that side of things, then please just let us know. We'd be more than happy to obviously put something out there for you. Okay, so we're going to have a look at the clutch and gears, just give you some advice and help and a bit more understanding on that. The clutch, I find for a lot of people when they first start to learn to drive, is this pedal that they're told to push up and down. They've got to push it up and down and that change gear, etc. But not really too sure on what it does and how it actually works. So I'm just going to try and explain the clutch to you, okay, just to keep it simple, but hopefully just to give you a better understanding, okay, of what, okay, the clutch does and how it actually works. So if we think about it, okay, one of the major components we've got in the car is going to be our engine. So the engine is the power source, okay, that provides the power to make the car move. And the power is generally controlled by the accelerator, or as maybe many instructors refer it to, okay, is the gas. So when we press the accelerator down, we are making the engine speed up, we're giving the engine more power, and that's generally going to increase our speed. If we come off the gas, we are going to reduce the power of the engine, slow the engine down, so in turn, okay, that's going to slow, okay, the car down. So basically what we have, okay, is coming off the engine is a wheel, okay. That is known as the flywheel. And you don't need to remember that, but just okay. So when the engine is running, okay, what's happening, okay, is that flywheel is turning. Alright? And all the time the engine is running, that flywheel is just going to continue turning all of the time. So as we've already said, okay, when we give it some more gas, we're going to make that flywheel turn faster. Alright, so we're generating more power. When we come off the gas, then obviously we're going to cause the flywheel to slow down. Alright? So that is all basically, okay, the engine is actually doing. The next major component we've got, okay, is the gearbox. Okay, and we've got going into the gearbox, we have another plate, a little bit smaller than the flywheel, okay, and that is known as the clutch plate. Okay, so what the clutch pedal does in the car, it's a lever, alright? So when the clutch pedal is up, which is the position it will always be when it's not being pressed, what's happening is, okay, the clutch plate and the flywheel are pressed together, they're engaged. So the engine, as the engine is turning, okay, in turn, it can turn the clutch plate and it's sending drive into the gearbox, alright? When we push the clutch pedal down to the floor, what we're actually doing is we're separating, okay, those two plates. So although the engine is still running, by separating the two plates, we've disengaged the engine from the gearbox, so the engine cannot produce any drive going into the gearbox. So that is all your clutch pedal is actually doing. We bring the clutch pedal up, we're bringing those two plates together. So if those two plates are together, so this plate will come forward, and it will be touching there, and it will then basically putting drive into the gearbox. Alright, when we push the clutch pedal down, we're separating those two plates, so although the engine is still running, there's no drive going into the gearbox. Alright, and basically the drive is coming out of the gearbox and then going onto your road wheels, which is making your road wheels turn, and which is going to make the car move. So that is all, okay, the clutch is actually doing. Okay, so hopefully that's just simplified and is giving you a little bit of understanding, okay, of how the clutch works and what it's actually doing, okay, under the bonnet of the car. So we have our clutch pedal. So this is the block of rubber that you put your foot on, and we have the clutch movement. Okay, so up here, when we push the clutch down, we're pushing it down to the floor. When we lift the clutch up, we're bringing the clutch up to its fully up position, okay, where it will be when we're not touching it. Okay, so as we've seen from the first diagram, okay, that we just looked at, when we push the clutch pedal down, we're disengaging the engine, we're separating, okay, those two plates. And you can then engage first gear, for example. Now what you'll notice, okay, is when you start to bring the clutch up, nothing will happen straight away. Alright, so we need to bring it up nice and slowly. And the reason why nothing's happening straight away is because when we pushed it down, okay, we split those two plates apart. And as we start to bring the clutch back up, we're now bringing those two plates closer together. So all the time there's fresh air between those two plates, nothing is going to happen. And then we're going to get to the point, okay, where those two plates will just start to touch each other. Alright, so that might be that point there, and that's now referred to the biting point. Is it 1 T or 2 T's? I can't remember, never mind, okay, so the biting point. So once, okay, those two plates start to touch at the biting point, as we bring the clutch further up, we're now applying more pressure, okay, to those plates, okay, so eventually when the clutch is fully up, okay, where those two plates are now squashed that tightly together, it's just acting as one, okay, so obviously the engine obviously can provide full drive, okay, into the gearbox. So the thing you want to be doing, okay, is when you're moving off, okay, is clutch in, select first gear, set and just give it a little bit of gas, a little bit of power, okay, and then you want to slowly bring the clutch up to the biting point. Alright, do your observations to have a look around, make sure it's safe to move, and when you're ready to move and you're letting your handbrake off, what you want to do is bring your clutch up a little bit more. Probably the width of a pound coin or something like that, just to the point, okay, where the car just starts to move. And then what we want to do is we want to hold the clutch at that point for a couple of seconds, I don't know, 2 seconds, something like that. So what you're allowing there, okay, is the engine just to take the load and start to move the car. Alright, and then what we can start to do, okay, once the car starts to move, okay, and obviously the engine's taking the load, we can start to give it a little bit more gas and smoothly bring the clutch all the way up. And that is how you're going to get a nice smooth drive off. Okay, the reason why the car often stalls, okay, when we move off is when we just lift off the clutch very quickly and very suddenly. And so what we're actually doing there is when we're doing that is we're just slapping those two plates suddenly together. So we're putting the engine under a sudden load, and the engine can't take that sudden load, so it lurches forward and stalls. The way I get my pupils to think about it is, if you like, let's imagine, okay, that we've got a box, a heavy box, and you hold your arms out and somebody's going to pass you that box. Now if that box is just dropped onto your arms, the sudden impact onto your arms is probably likely to make your arms collapse and you end up dropping the box. So the way, okay, obviously to get that box so you don't drop it is to get somebody to gently lower the box onto your arms so you can feel the weight and take the strain before they take their arms away and you've got hold of the box. So when you just lift off the clutch, suddenly it's a little bit like just someone dropping that box on your arms. You can't take the load and you drop it, so obviously the engine's going to stall. So by lifting up, bringing up the clutch, okay, getting it to the point where the car starts to move, just holding it there for a moment or two before giving it some gas and then bringing the clutch all the way up, we've allowed the engine to take the load and we're going to get a nice smooth move off. So that's how we really should be operating, okay, the clutch pedal. Now, clutch is always going to be different. When we drive another car, even if it's the same make or model, the clutch is a wearing part of the vehicle. So obviously the biting point generally will be a different point on the pedal. Alright, so if you jump into another car, you might find that the biting point might be quite low on the pedal, or in another car it could be very high on the pedal. So you'll get to know, okay, where your biting point is. But once you've got the feel of that, okay, this part here from biting point, lifting the clutch up just a little bit to get the car moving, okay, is going to be pretty much the same. So hopefully that's just giving you a little bit more information and a bit more understanding, okay, about what the clutch does, how it works, okay, and how we should be using the clutch when we're moving away. Okay, last thing I just want to quickly talk to you about, okay, is gears. We see quite a lot, okay, people early on, okay, misselecting gears, and I think one of the main reasons why, okay, we are misselecting gears is because we're not moving the gear lever correctly. Alright, now the main setup of gears in cars is going to be the same. The way I think about it, first of all, is if we to draw an H, okay, what we've got is first, second, third and fourth, okay, and if we draw another H next to it, what we've got is fifth gear. Now some cars nowadays have 6 gears, so if we did, gear 6 will be down there, okay. Not all cars have, okay, 6 gears. Sometimes, okay, that could be where reverse gear is. Now reverse gear in different cars, okay, could be in different places. In my car, for example, I do have 6 gears in my car, and my reverse gear is up next to first. Okay, now we generally don't have to worry about reverse gear because most reverse gears in modern cars nowadays are protected. Now what I mean by that is you can't accidentally select reverse gear. You normally have to press the gear lever down, pull it up, or there's a little lever or something, okay, to allow the gear lever to actually go into the reverse section. So we don't have to generally worry about it. Okay, so let's just take that off and let's just think about, okay, the forward gears. So when the gear lever is in neutral, it's always going to sit dead opposite third and fourth gear. Now what we have is 2 springs, one there and one there, and that spring on that side is going to push the gear lever that way, and that spring on that side is going to push the gear lever that way. So when we're running the gear lever along the neutral position, okay, between first and second, third and fourth, and fifth and sixth, and we let go of it, it means it's going to spring back to that very point. Alright? So if we just push the gear lever straight up, we're going into third gear. So to select first gear, we need to first of all push the gear lever all the way to the left so it stops, and then up into first gear. Now, where we see quite commonly people's, okay, when they're changing gear, they're going from first to second gear, they come out of first gear, but the spring catches it and they end up in fourth gear. And you bring the clutch up and you feel the car engine juddering and shuddering, or even could even stall or whatever. Right, so to prevent that from happening, okay, is when you go from first to second, just keep the gear lever, just keep a little bit of pressure, okay, on the gear lever to the left, and as you're coming down. And the thing is also, okay, be nice, light and gentle with the gear lever when you're moving it. Don't grab it and ram it down, okay. Be nice and gentle with it, because you'll feel it come out of gear and you'll feel it go into gear. Alright, so nice, light, gentle movements coming down. Going from second to third is quite easy, so just gently bring it out of second gear to neutral, and if you let go of the gear lever, it will hop across. So now we just got to bring it up. Okay, so we're into third, straight down to fourth, Fifth is to neutral, pushing it all the way to the right till it stops, up into fifth. If we've got gear 6, it's just a case of keeping the gear lever over to the right and gently coming neutral into gear 6. The way I get my pupils to think about gear change, okay, it isn't one movement. So first to second is 2 movements. It's first, neutral, second. Second, neutral, letting it go over third. Third, neutral, fourth. Fourth, going all the way to the right to neutral, fifth. And then fifth, neutral, sixth, okay? So I think if you think about it as those movements, okay, again, it's going to help you, okay, select the correct gear. So just remember then, okay, 1 and 2 is all the way to the left. 3 and 4 is in the middle. 5 and 6 is over to the right. So if you've got a family car or, you know, your instructor's car, just go in and have a little bit of a play around with that, okay, of obviously moving the gear lever around. If you do that, guys, okay, don't need to start the engine, okay, obviously do it without the engine running, but have the clutch pushed down, okay, just to free the gearbox. So have the clutch pushed down, okay, as you're changing and selecting, okay, the gears, okay, and you can practice that, and you'll find that once you've got that movement, okay, and you've also got that picture in your mind, and you're being gentle with it, you'll find that when you're driving then, you'll find that you're able to find the right gear, easy to select. And the other thing is, okay, because what we don't want to be doing, okay, is when we're changing gear, is actually looking down at the gear lever. We want to be looking at the road ahead. So hopefully that's giving you a bit more understanding about the gears and how to get the right gear and select the gear. Okay, so that's it for today's theory workshop. I hope again that's been of some help to you. Please, okay, like and share that video. If you haven't already done so, please like and follow our page. We are trying to build up the audience out there to obviously get a bigger and better audience. You can visit us on our website, which is directdrivehub.co.uk. We are building more content, okay, up on our website as well, and just keep a watch out, okay, on for other stuff and that we're putting out on Facebook, and we'll see you next week, okay, on next week's theory workshop. Okay, see you soon.